I can't tell you why, but about 6 months ago, I woke up one morning and for no reason that I can discern, the first thought in my mind was, is Pete Seeger still alive? Well, it turns out he is. Easy to find and still singing and agitating and active as all get out. Before there was Dylan, and after there was Guthrie, there was and there is Pete Seeger.
I'm convinced that if there's a world here in 100 years, it will be tens of millions of little things, little organizations that will save it. The powers that be have so much money they can destroy any one thing they want. A big organization, a big media, big political movement, big unions. They can corrupt it from the inside. They can co-opt it and mislead it. They say, oh, you're doing wonderful. Let us help you carry the ball. And then they carry it in a different direction. But what are they going to do about 100 million little things? They break up one of them and two more like them spring up. I don't have much voice left, but I still sing in schools whenever I have the chance. And I look at those little faces, can't say there's no hope. I confess I'm more optimistic now than I was 61 years ago when the atom bomb fell. It sunk through my skull what it meant. I thought surely by the end of the century some fool would drop one and then others would be dropped, and if we weren't killed we'd be poisoned by the fallout. But President Eisenhower wouldn't let General Curtis LeMay do what he was doing. He was playing chicken with the Russians and hoping he could photograph even one Russian plane going west, in which case he was ready with 100 planes with nuclear bombs going east and wipe out the country. What will save us? Oh, any kind of communication we can get. The arts. Sports, food, words even, although they mean different things to different people. English is the most widely used language in the history of the planet. 1 out of every 7 human beings can speak or read it. It has the largest vocabulary, perhaps 2 million words, but face it, English is crazy. Next time, help me out on that. If the plural of tooth is teeth, shouldn't the plural of booth be beef? It's 1 goose, 2 geese. Why not 1 moose, 2 meese? The plural of index is indices. Should it be 1 Kleenex, 2 Kleeneces? There's no egg in eggplant, no pine or apple in pineapple. A writer writes, but do fingers fing? Do grocers gross? Quicksand works slowly. Boxing rings a square. English is crazy. In what other language do you drive on a parkway and park in a driveway? Recite at a play and play at a recital. Ship by truck, send cargo by ship. Have noses that run and feet that smell. English is crazy. Next time, get a little harmony. Crazy. You have to marvel at the lunacy of a language in which your house can burn up when it burns down. You fill out a form when you fill it in. Your alarm clock goes off when it goes on. And if a vegetarian eats vegetables, what does a humanitarian eat? English is crazy. Well, English was made up by people, not computers. Reflects the creativity of the human race. So that's when I wind up my watch, I start it. When I wind up this rap, I end it. English is crazy. I think some of the various different kinds of communication we need have to reach fundamentalists of all sorts. Not just religious fundamentalists. Oh, incidentally, does anybody know anybody in Kansas? I have about 100 copies with me of a bumper sticker that says, "Gravity is just a theory." No, we don't need ideas for new weapons. And in my opinion, we don't need that many new ideas for profitable new toys for rich people. I think, though, technology may save us if it doesn't wipe us out first. Some of the most dangerous fundamentalists are scientists. My father put me onto this. He was an old scholar, and when he was about 90, he said, "Peter, I can't persuade the scientists I talk to that they have the most dangerous religious belief in the world." And the scientists would say, "Charlie, I don't have a religious belief. I base my actions on observation, double-checked around the world, as all science should be, and then draw logical conclusions." "Oh, no," said my father, "haven't you observed they're insane, power-hungry people around, people like Hitler? They're in every country. Is it logical to put in their hands the ability to destroy the world?" But just says, "You're attacking all science. If I didn't discover these things, somebody else would." "Yes," says my father, "if you didn't rape this woman, somebody else would, so why not?" The scientist, but you've no right to ask such questions. And as they go away, he shouts after them, "Face it, it's a religious belief. You think that an infinite increase in empirical information is a good thing. Can you prove it?" 1960, I got a letter from one of my publishers saying, "Pete, can't you write another song like Good Night, Irene? I can't market these protest songs you keep writing." And I was a little angry. I had a reel-to-reel tape recorder at the time, and I put a reel of tape on it, and I pulled out a piece of paper out of my pocket where I'd jotted down some verses I'd written out of the Bible. Improvised a tune. Now, you know this song probably better than I do. Clear out your throat. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Take a breath. To everything, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to be born, a time to die, to plant, to reap, a time to plant, a time to kill, to heal, a time to help, a time to laugh, to weep, a time to laugh, a time to weep, to everything, to everything. There is a season, turn, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Some of you are singing good, but others preserving their academic objectivity. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to dance to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to cast away, to gather, a time to gather stones together, to everything, to everything. There is a season, turn, and a time for every purpose. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of love, a time of war, of peace, a time of war, a time you may embrace, a time you may refrain, a time you refrain from embracing. Oh, get some harmony. To everything turn. There is a season, turn, and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to gain, a time to rend, to sow, a time to rend, a time of love, of hate, a time of love, a time peace, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late to everything. It's a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. This song was originally a rather fast song, probably made up way back in the 19th century. It's still sung in gospel churches. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll be all right someday. If in my heart I do believe I'll be all right someday. I'll be like him. I'll be like him. I'll be like him someday. And somewhere they changed one word, deep in my heart. And I thought the song had been created in the mid-20th century, but I see on the front page of the United Mine Workers Journal in February 1909 is a letter from some union member in Alabama where they were against the law to have a mixed local, but they had two locals, one black and one white, and they'd meet in the same room with two chairmen sitting side by side on a table. And that's, he said, last year our strike, we started off every meeting with a prayer and singing that good old song, We Will Overcome. Then in 1946, some tobacco workers in Charleston, South Carolina, were on strike, and it was a long, bitter strike, and in winter. And they'd see one of the strikers named Lucille Simmons like to sing this in what they call long meter style, very, very slow. You can slow it. We just did this. And when the song goes slowly, you know, and you're trying to harmonize, if you think you got the wrong note, you have time to slide over and get a better one. Well, she taught it to a white union organizer, Sylvia Horton, at the Highlander Folk School, which was a labor school. And Sylvia died, but a young California guy, well, his name was Guy Carawan. He learnt this song from her, and he gave it that same rhythm we just were singing to. And in 1960, he taught it to the founding convention of the organization they call SNCC, S-N-C-C, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Well, a month later, it was all across the South, from Texas to Florida to Virginia. It wasn't a song, it was the song. You know it better than I do. We shall overcome. Sing it out. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe. I do believe we shall overcome someday. Everybody makes up new verses. I made up one that says, we'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. This song is spread around the world. I was in India 10 years ago, 12 years ago, in a little village near Calcutta. A man ran and got his 5-year-old daughter, and with her in his arms, he sings this song in Bengali. I have to confess, in 1965, on the Selma March, a lot of people were a little impatient with that word someday. And soon as the song was over, somebody would shout, "What do we want?" And they would shout, "Freedom." When do we want it? Now! I tell the fundamentalists of this world, God only knows what the future is going to be. But we think He doesn't want us to help Him end the world. And I say, God gave us a brain. Didn't He want us to use them? When you come to a curve at the edge of a street, do you look up in the sky and say, God, only you can save me. Please, I have to walk across the street. I'm depending on you to save me. No. They look to the left, they look to the right, and if there's no car coming, then they cross. No matter how fundamentalist they are. Well, what kind of fundamentalist? I got a verse to end with. I made up this verse too. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole
He